Hello everybody, good morning and welcome to the United Stand. This is your latest Manchester United news and transfer news. Sergio Ramos wants a Manchester United transfer. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants Koundé. Also links to Konate, Dembele and a few other transfer stories to get up to date with in relation to loans, ins and out, and the transfer deadline day tomorrow. Will that mean anything? We'll talk about that, but first of all, let's address the real issues in the room. How are we all feeling this morning after last night? Obviously, look, let me just say as well, and I saw Marcus Rashford's tweet. I've seen it mentioned on Match of the Day. Racist remarks under Manchester United players' comments again. Disgusting, vile. But what I would say is that surely at this point now, we need action in relation to the social media accounts who are doing this. Because as somebody who's had a lot of abuse on doing this over the last 5 years, not racist abuse, and that is way worse than anything I've ever had, as is homophobia, as is sexism, as is any of those things which are absolutely disgusting and vile. But we've all been victim of abuse on social media. And the reality is, if I say to you, somebody last night said to me, I wish you'd die, there'll be somebody today who tells me I wish I was dead, because it's a red rag to a bull, because they know they can't be caught. So the downside of, well, it's not a downside, but by saying Match of the Day coming out and talking about racist abuse, these sickos will be out there getting straight onto socials to do it. So by highlighting what they're up to, it's the right thing to do, but it makes the problem worse, because the problem is they're doing it in the first place because they're not going to get caught. They're anonymous, so they can say anything they want. And these people have got problems in their own heads. So when Marcus Rashford tweets about he's not going to take any notice of it and Match of the Day say it's disgusting, these sickos will go, I'm going to do it. What we need these social media companies to make it so that any account that tweets or posts can be traced very easily. And if they're using mummy and daddy's details, well, mummy and daddy are going to get in trouble, aren't they? And that's what needs to happen, because to be honest with you, if another player gets abused today like Reece James was the other day for Chelsea, then, you know, and he comes out publicly and we all just go, yeah, it's disgusting again, we're not moving it forward. Like, they're going to keep doing it because they can't get caught, basically. But it's disgusting. We're going to talk about Ramos. We're going to talk about everything else. I just want to say about the match last night, you know what? We just got to suck it up and get on with it. You know, we are and can still have a very good season. I was very disappointed last night, as we all are when you just had a game of football. Having watched Match of the Day and watched half of the game back again this morning, my general consensus is this in a sentence, and it's an honest opinion, and it is my opinion. Welcome to the Members Club, Stretford Steelhead 17. My opinion is this. Arteta is a better coach than Solskjaer. Solskjaer is a better man manager than Arteta, and we've got better players than Arteta's got. I think if you gave Arteta the players that we've got, we probably would lose. He's a better tactical coach, and that's why over 3 games we haven't really caused him any problems, even though we've got better players. 3 games against Arsenal now. 3 games I've seen Arteta in-game manage us, and sometimes from minute 1. We've not scored against him yet. I mean, that's not a massive thing, but we've not beat him yet. We've not looked like beating him yet in 3 games. So look, Solskjaer needs to improve tactically. He's a work in progress. Anybody who thinks we're going to win this league, fair play, I hope we do, but realistically, we want to win the league, but we're not there yet. We need a right winger, we need a centre defensive midfielder, we need a centre back, and Ollie needs to evolve as a coach and be more in-game management. I saw somebody say last night that the game changed when McTominay went off. We were in control of the game and then McTominay went off. I mean, this is not true. Analyse the game properly. McTominay going off was unfortunate, but by McTominay going off, we pulled Paul Pogba into his best position. So you're telling me that McTominay's better for the team than Paul Pogba. What actually happened is, when McTominay came off, Pogba went into the middle. We kept the momentum until half-time, and the second half we lost momentum because Arteta took Martinelli off because we were dominating the right-hand side, put Willian on, and we didn't dominate the right-hand side anymore. Arteta game managed the game tactically, and Solskjaer didn't. Pogba going centrally wasn't an issue at all. It was the fact that we didn't adapt in the second half. We kept trying to do the same thing, and the Rashford substitution was too late. So Solskjaer's in-game management needs to improve. Arteta's a better tactical coach than he is. Solskjaer needs to improve. Now, I don't know whether he's going to improve with the coaches he's got. I don't know whether he is going to improve, but he's got to improve. It's obvious to anybody who watches Manchester United at the moment that in-game management is subpar. Late substitutions, not changing tactically in game. He can do it. We did it against PSG back in the autumn. But ultimately, let's just see what happens over the next few games. We've got Southampton on Tuesday night, then we've got Everton next weekend, then we've got West Brom, obviously West Ham in the FA Cup after Everton. 3 big games in the league. I want 9 points. If we don't take 9 points from the next 3 games, and I'm not talking about title races here, if we don't take 9 points from the next 3 games, we're going to get dragged down. We're going to be in a race, not for the title. Top 4 is tight. It's tighter than a duck's arse in a sandstorm. So Manchester United now have put themselves in what I would consider to be a good position from the start of the season, but we're in a precarious position in relation to the league, because if Spurs win today, Liverpool win today, and Leicester win today, we are getting a bit of heat from behind us. Forget titles. So United need to start playing better. And Southampton played well last night and they lost to Villa. Everton are playing well. And, you know, they're 2 big games for us. Mark, if it's best we don't talk about the title, I worry about top 4, says Manchester United 99. Exactly, spot on. Respect your opinion, says Russell Burton, on Arteta compared to Ollie. Personally, I disagree, but ultimately as a team, we are not there yet and probably can't win titles. Russell, look, look, when I say that Arteta's a better coach than Solskjaer, I don't mean it in a way sack Ollie. I think some people would read it as that. To me, it's just an honest assessment of what I've seen from Arteta against United over 3 games, over 12 months, and watching Arsenal probably 4 or 5 times in the last 6 weeks. He hasn't got the players we've got. He's got the injuries we haven't got, and tactically his team is organised, and I can see the movements they're making. I can see the passes they're trying to make. United, we ran out of ideas in the second half, and Arteta and Pep and maybe even Klopp would adapt tactically. Solskjaer needs to go to that level. For me, as a tactical coach, doesn't make him a bad coach. I think Solskjaer's a brilliant man-manager, but and look, the players love Solskjaer. That's something that Lampard didn't have. That's why he sat on the sofa watching it with a cup of tea and hobnobs at lunchtime instead of managing his team against Burnley. But the reality is, Solskjaer's got gears to go tactically. He's stubborn. He doesn't make changes. He trusts his players, I think, too much sometimes. The writing's on the wall and he'll keep them on. And I'm not naming names, but you've seen it in the last couple of games. Certain players stay on the pitch when they're obviously having a bad game because he's trusting them and he's waiting for that moment. And that moment never arrives. And there are players on the bench or not on the bench who I think could offer more. I mean, look, you know what? Yesterday, Jesse Lingard's playing for West Ham today. If Lingard plays for West Ham today and plays well, I'm going to be sat there thinking, fair play, Jesse. I reckon he could have done a job for us yesterday off the wing, because we ain't got any good wingers at the moment. Let's talk about the... I am doing a watch-along today for West Ham Liverpool on Mark Goldbridge. That's football, by the way, if you want to join me for that. Let's talk about the transfer news, though, because we can always come back to this. So, Sergio, Sunday morning, I always say this about Sunday morning, this has been like it for pretty much all of my life. We get Sunday papers, well, I think we still get Sunday papers, but Sunday outlets, really. There used to be things like News of the World, The People. They are basically news outlets that just operate on a Sunday morning. So they have their own journalists, they have their own stories, and you've always traditionally got different stories on a Sunday to what you get during the week because they've got their own outlets to sell. So, this morning, Sergio Ramos, Mirror, talking about Sergio Ramos not wanting to sign a new contract at Real Madrid, not interested in a move to PSG. Premier League's what he's looking at, and United would be his first port of call. Now, look, straight away, I'm going to say this. Sergio Ramos is a player that should have come to our club 5 years ago, but used us for a new contract to Real Madrid. And if you're talking about Sergio Ramos 5 years ago, I'm all over this. Absolutely all over this. Talking about Sergio Ramos as a 35-year-old who maybe is using us again, I can't get excited about it. I know a lot of people do. We spoke about him a few weeks ago. And look, to be honest with you, you stick Sergio Ramos into that midfield, into that defence yesterday. All right, we need Maguire with somebody with a bit of pace next to him. But Ramos is no slower than Lindelof. And Ollie's obsessed with playing Lindelof and Maguire. So that would be a step up. I'm not doubting Ramos would be a step up. But 1, I don't think he wants to come here. 2, I worry about his age. 3, is it really future planning? And 4, it's ridiculously expensive. And 5, he's never played in the Premier League before, which is very, very, very fast-paced. So, I mean, look, if it happens, it happens. But I'm more interested in some of the other stories that are coming out around the centre-backs, to be honest with you. So, Ramos 5 years ago, yes. Ramos now... There are other options I would go for, to be honest with you. Rashford is playing like a man who knows he won't lose his starting spot. He needs to be dropped and sorted out, says Chris. You could also say the same about Martial. We need a CDM, centre-back, right winger and a 9. I love Martial like you, but he had to use last season as a springboard and he hasn't. Go for Haaland or Calvert-Lewin, says Ramnish. And Fred, stick to breaking up the play and play the easy pass. Liability further forward and went over ambitious. Lost the ball dangerously repeatedly again, says Sam Brox. You know, just very quickly, I wasn't going to talk about Fred, but I think you're spot on. I saw Fred on the edge of our box in an attacking sense too much yesterday. 2 minutes to go, edge of the box, he tries some ridiculous shot. Get out the way. Give it to the better players. If it's Bruno or Pogba, have a shot, but not Fred. And I know he nearly scored from a corner, but I saw Fred way too high up the pitch yesterday. Which is great in one way because you can't complain about it. But when he's in those positions, don't be taking shots. You're not that sort of player. Mark, can we have a mini bridge on the show someday? Says David. Well, he's on my Insta at the moment. He wanted a goal yesterday, as you can see. Danny Uppel says, just get Koundé. So moving on from Ramos, that's the story that he wants to come to the Premier League and Manchester United, his first protocol. Look, we've been far closer to getting Ramos than this, and he signed a new contract at Real Madrid. So I'm not getting excited about this. He wants a big deal out of Real Madrid, and look at the leaked deal that Barcelona have apparently offered to Messi. I think Real Madrid, Barcelona are going to be about keeping their best players because they really haven't got the money to go and buy players at the moment. They've got financial difficulties. So I think Ramos is just playing the game here. You know, Manchester United is the best team in the world to use for a new contract. We've seen this time and time again, and I think that that's what's happening here with Ramos. However, there is another story which is sort of, I've seen it in quite a few outlets this morning, so I don't know where the source of the story is. It might well be the Mirror again, so take it with a pinch of salt. But apparently Solskjaer's priority centre-back is now Jules Koundé, who is at Sevilla and also plays for me in my Manchester United FIFA career mode, if you're interested. But on a serious note, I think he's 21, 22. He's not particularly tall. I think he's just under 6 foot. But I think this is exactly the sort of player that you put next to Harry Maguire. He's quick. He's very good on the ball. I mean, look, playing for Sevilla, you've got to defend and you've got to defend on your own. The way we've seen what Sevilla are like, they leave a lot of space and they trust their men to be, go man to man, cover their space, have the ball in difficult situations. What I have noticed from United a lot, and at times it's really impressed me, is that we want to play out from the back. And I think Luke Shaw's brilliant at it. Luke Shaw is so good in a tight situation, and Fred's not too bad. Pogba's brilliant at it. But I don't think Maguire and Lindelof really suit it. They're not bad for centre-backs on the ball, but you get someone like Jules Koundé in and you want to play out from the back, then you're going to do it very, very easily. I like him. I really like him. I think that there is an obsession with height at Manchester United. You don't need height if you've got Harry Maguire at the back. Like, you don't need two massive centre-backs. What we need is a quick, ball-playing, top-quality stroke, can-be world-class centre-back. And I think Koundé could be that. And you know that because Bayern Munich are interested, Juventus are interested. So, look, I don't know what his release clause is. There's talk of about 60 million quid. But this is the sort of player United need to be looking at. There are 3 or 4 top-class stroke, can-be world-class centre-backs available this summer. Upamecano's one. I don't see us winning that race. I think Chelsea and Bayern Munich are going to win that race. One of those will win it. David Alaba, again, I don't think we're going to win that race. I think Real Madrid will win that race. You move to Koundé and you move to Konate at Leipzig. Now, United need to be going for one of those two players and they need to be getting one of those two players because they fit the profile perfectly. They're the right age, they've got the right attributes, especially in relation to pace and potential. Would I like Koundé or Konate? I actually do like Konate at Leipzig, but I'd go Koundé because I just think that he's doing it in a team that's far better. And look, Nagelsmann's team's very good, but the way Sevilla play, we want to be a team that can play out from the back, and Koundé would definitely provide us with that. But look, can United do that sort of deal? Are they going to start looking at bloody Tyrone Mings or something? You just don't know with United and their transfer policy. And look, as well, I've got to say, we're coming towards the end of a transfer window, which has been very disappointing again. And what happens at the end of the transfer window? The same thing that happened at the last transfer window. You start to get links about players that would be good for you next transfer window. It's a common strategy in the world of football, and we fall for it every time. We've wasted this transfer window, but our priority next transfer window is Koundé, and then we won't do that. And then our priority next January is Varane, and it just keeps moving on and on and on. And I will say this about this transfer window. I feel it's a real wasted opportunity by Manchester United. We're not the only club. I mean, look at Liverpool. I can't believe they haven't bought anybody as well. But we've wasted an opportunity in this transfer window. And unfortunately, we've paid the price of having a good start to January where we went top of the league and having no injuries. Now, we could have a bad February, we could pick up some injuries, and we'll be going, we should have bought someone in January. But the board will be loving this. They'll be like, haha, we've got through the whole transfer window where there's not really been any pressure to buy anyone. Solskjaer's dropped enough hints, by the way. I've heard Solskjaer say 2 or 3 times this transfer window, it's unlikely to do any business. If the right deal presents itself, maybe, but it's unlikely. That's not a manager saying that he's happy with his squad. That's a manager saying, I want players, but this board ain't going to get me them. And Solskjaer said that at least twice. He has. You can find the quotes. He's done it in his press conference as well. He's basically said, it's unlikely to happen, but if the right deal presents itself. That's a manager saying, I want players, but the board won't provide it. It's the same as last summer. And you go back to that last summer transfer window and how close we were to signing Jadon Sancho. And look, regardless of how well Sancho's played this summer, you've got to go not on the player, although you can do. You've got to go on the fact that do we desperately need a right winger? Oh, yeah, we do. Did Solskjaer thought he was going to get one last summer? Yes, he did. Who let him down? The board. So when you start moaning about Rashford on the right or Martial on the left, the lack of creativity off the wings, that's nothing to do with Solskjaer. That's to do with the board again, isn't it? Because he wanted one in the summer. He didn't get it. Diallo is 19 years of age and he's obviously going to take a bit of time to settle in. Hopefully sooner rather than later. I'd chuck him in against Southampton on Tuesday. I think we're so bad off the wing, and he clearly doesn't trust Van der Beek or Dan James or Juan Mata. So I would get Diallo involved ASAP. But the board have let the board. This ain't rocket surgery, is it? It's been happening for years. The board have let down Solskjaer. The lack of creativity off the wings is a joke at this point. We're terrible. I mean, Anthony Martial yesterday, people were like, oh, Cavani, on the second chance, Cavani should have scored. He should have left it for Martial. Martial's making the number 9 run. You're not a number 9 in that team. You're a number 11. You're playing off the wing. Martial's wandering. And there was a time as well when Cavani got it on the edge of the box. And Martial's right next to him, and he should be on the left-hand side for the pass. Fortunately, Luke Shaw, who was brilliant again, has made the run. Martial's wandering into Cavani's position. Rashford's not doing very well off the right. So Danlo says, me and my homies hate the board. Thanks for the super chat. You can do that through the $sign if you so wish. The third player we're interested in, and this has come from Christian Falk, who is the German journalist who's got very close ties in with Bayern Munich. He's come out and said that Manchester United are interested in Konate at Leipzig. So you've got Konate and Upamecano at centre-back. Now, I've said for quite a while that, look, I think most people would go Upamecano, but I've always said this. I've been saying it for the last 18 months, that Konate is a player that I like, and I would be happy with either of those players. I think Konate, if my memory serves me correct, is a little bit more injury-prone, but I like Konate. I like his pace. I like his power. He's not bad on the ball either. He's young. He's in his early 20s, and he's got potential to build forward. There'll be a lot of interest in this player as well. But what we can't do, as I said, is we can't miss the boat on this. We desperately need a centre-back of the Look, if I said to you, Alaba, Upamecano, Koundé, Konate, they're all exactly what we need. And they're all quality players who, apart from Alaba because of his age, and he's probably already there, some would say, but Upamecano, Koundé and Konate, they're all top quality centre-backs who can become world-class centre-backs. They tick the box for Manchester United. And when you're Manchester United, and imagine this summer, in the summer there's only Upamecano that ticks those boxes, right? And we miss out because he goes to Chelsea. That's bad enough because we're Manchester United and we've missed out again. But when there's 3 players who are all pretty much the same quality, who have all got the same potential, and who are all perfect for United, Koundé, Konate, Upamecano. If we don't get one of those when you've got 3 to go for and you're Manchester United, that is a joke. Now, some people will be saying it, and I saw someone just say it there, we will miss out though, because I can name 5 clubs that are better than us in the transfer window. And they're end of the lesson. Because we're Manchester United, but when it comes to transfers, we are Swindon. We're not very good, but there's 3 players there. And they're all around the same price. Upamecano, 40 million. Konate, probably the same. Koundé, 40 to 60 million. So all around the same price, all around the same age, all around the same sort of talent, all around with the same potential as well. So we've got to get one of those 3 players. But do you think we'll do it? Because I don't mind out of those 3 what we get. I think they've all got their pluses, but there's 3 to go for. And any one of them we'd be over the moon with. Will we do it? Mark, you said we'd rather have Ramos or nothing, but he could lift the team. Your thoughts, says Mikael. Mate, if it's Ramos or nothing, I'm going to take Ramos. Of course I will. But I just think I'd rather have Koundé, Konate or Upamecano over Ramos because we're trying to build a future. I think we've had a bit of a reality bite over the last couple of games. We're not going to win the title unless something amazing happens, like we go on an amazing run again. I'm just so happy we're playing Southampton in literally 48 hours' time because the jury's still out, isn't it? You lose to Sheffield United, you need a reaction. You go to Arsenal, but you don't lose, but you don't win either. We could have won. And I don't think you can make a decision. I don't think you can say, the same thing's happened again. We've gone on a 3-month good run. We lose a game and the bubble bursts and everybody's head drops. To a certain extent, you could say that, but we didn't lose against Arsenal, and Arsenal are always a tough team for us at the moment. If we don't beat Southampton, I think the bubbles burst and the heads have dropped. If we beat Southampton and then we can beat Everton, then we've bounced back quicker than we normally do. And what I would say is that while Sheffield United, and I don't know what you think, while Sheffield United was a terrible performance and Arsenal was a disappointing draw, Arsenal fans are celebrating a draw as if it's better for them. Well, you can have it. Arteta said it was a fair point. I don't think it was. I think we should have won. And I thought Arsenal played well, but Cavani had the 2 best chances of the game, and a player of his quality should score that. So I was disappointed with the draw, whereas I think Arsenal were like, wow, that's a bit, look at us, we had the injuries. Well, fair play, celebrate your draw. But I think we should have won. And you know what? Credit to Arsenal. If we'd beaten them, I would have been very happy with that because I thought they were well organised, and I think Arteta's a decent coach. But it's a draw, and we move on. And that Southampton game becomes really, really important. But what I was going to say is that I think some players that were shit against Sheffield United stayed shit for the Arsenal game. But I think some players showed a mentality to bounce back. And of course, I think Luke Shaw and Fred, who didn't play against Sheffield United, again, were very important for us. But I felt that Bruno bounced back. I just think it wasn't his game. I thought Pogba, responded well as well. Cavani was, he should score, but his mentality was right. There were other players that I felt, if we were relying on them, we would have lost that game. They didn't bounce back from Sheffield United. I'm not naming names, there's no point. But there were some players, and Wan-Bissaka played well as well, but there were some players that just didn't respond. And that's disappointing. But, you can't solve everything in one game. I don't think Ramos would come, says Mehdi. If he actually does, it would be great short-term addition. You see, that's the words for me. I don't want short-term. I want a bit. I don't mind United not winning the title this year if we're building long-term. But you bring Ramos in next year, you've almost got to win the title next year because Ramos is only going to give you 2 years max. Just a bit of other transfer news as well. Quite a lot happening with Man United with our loanees. Jimmy Garner, he's been at on loan at Watford. I don't think he was doing too badly at Watford. He did start a few games, but apparently he hasn't started a game since December. He's had his loan at Watford cancelled and has now gone to Nottingham Forest, who are lower down in the league. So I hope he's going to get some first... The main thing with Garner is he needs first-team football. And remember, he's not 22. He's still a teenager. So Garner game time is what we want to see. He's gone to Forest. Let's see what happens there. Surprisingly, I thought Chong as well was doing okay at Werder Bremen. He was always on the bench. He started a few games. I thought he was getting a bit of game time. He's had it cancelled there. He's gone to Bruges in Belgium. So I'm a little bit surprised about the Chong one because he was almost knocking on the door at Werder Bremen. And Werder Bremen are a Bundesliga side, but he's gone to the Belgian league. So I'm a bit disappointed in the Chong one. I worry about Chong's future actually because I think if he'd have kept doing what he was doing in the Bundesliga and got better, that's a really good league to be doing well in. In the Belgian league, it's like, well, it's the Belgian league. So a bit disappointed about the Chong one, really. Garner, not bothered because it's about playing football in the Championship and that's great for him and hopefully he will play. But Chong, I feel he's taken a step down there and I don't really know what that's all about. Brandon Williams is going to be staying at Manchester United. There was talk about him going on loan. He will be staying. I presume this is because we've got no backup for Wan-Bissaka. It worries me a bit because I don't rate Brandon Williams and I think he needed a loan. And you know what? I'm not even arrogant enough to say a loan in the Premier League is good enough for him. I think the Championship would have been absolutely fine. But we're so short at right back. Ollie's obviously got to keep him with Fosu Mensah going. I don't think Williams has played well for United probably since about last March. I think after lockdown he was poor. But But look, he's right-footed. Maybe he'll do better at right back. But he's a player that needed to be playing every week. And I think the Championship would have been great for him. If he could have got a Premier League club, there was interest. But we haven't got any backup, so we've got to keep him. And I don't know how that helps his development, really. I'm a bit frustrated by that because Brandon Williams is the backup right back who never plays, isn't as good for his career as Brandon Williams, the right back who's out playing first team football in the Premier League or the Championship. And how old is Brandon Williams now as well? He needs to play. What do you think about Diallo's debut against Liverpool in the under-23, says Jack White. Please smash a like on the video if you're watching, by the way. Look, I think I don't take a massive amount of notice of the under-23s because the level is not the Premier League. All you can do in the under-23s is impress, and then hopefully that gives you the report to the manager to get into the first team squad. And look, there's a fantastic striker that we brought in this season, Hugel. He's scoring loads of goals as well. And you could say that, well, when's he going to get a chance? So it's always good when players are doing exciting things in the youth setup. But it's a ladder for me. They're just climbing the ladder to get to the first team, and then there's a big ladder to climb there as well. So Diallo, look, he looks very, very good. But at under-23 level, it's very difficult to say, he's going to tear up the Premier League. I think he's ready to play in the Premier League, though. The thing I would say about Diallo, to take it away from the under-23s, because he did play well, is he has played first-team football in Serie A and the Champions League. He's not Palestri, and he's not a young player who's never had any first-team football. I think get him on the bench. Like, you look at that game again yesterday, and you look at the Sheffield United game, our wingers are not playing well. You've got Dan James on the bench. He's not been given a minute. And I know it's all about Donny, and I've said that bit yesterday, and I'm glad that people have retweeted the clip that I said about Donny, because it's true. But what about Dan James? And I know people don't rate him, but he is a winger. He's a right or left winger. Our wingers are playing terrible with the last two games, and Dan James hasn't been given a minute. To me, that suggests take Dan James off the bench, put Diallo on the bench and give him a go, because you clearly don't trust Dan James. So I would get him on the bench and give him a go. Thoughts on Cavani, says Mohammed. Just one of those days for Cavani yesterday. He's got to score one of those chances. And I think they're both easy chances for someone like Cavani. And people are saying, he just didn't catch it right. He's in the 6-yard box on both of them. And he's one of the best finishers in the game. So he should score those. But he's in the right position. On another day, he scores both those goals and he gets 2 goals. I've got no concerns with Cavani. My only concerns with Cavani is that I think sometimes people think he's better than he actually is. I think, his performance yesterday, as I said, if that was Martial, he would have been getting pelters. But having said that, Cavani does a lot more than Martial in the number 9 shirts at the moment. His work ethic, his tenacity, his positional sense. So I wouldn't compare Cavani to Martial because that's not fair on Cavani. But what I would say is that he should have scored those chances yesterday. But I would expect on Tuesday, if he gets those chances, he'll score. But you've got to game manage Cavani. I don't think Cavani can play 3 games a week. I just don't think he can. If you look at his recent injury record, I just don't think he can do it. We've got to be careful because we are going to close the transfer window tomorrow and then we've got loads of games still. And if Cavani gets injured with a hamstring and he's out for 4 weeks, that means he probably misses about 7-8 games and you're back to Martial up front again. So we've got to be patient with our players because this is what we've got. And it's the same with Rashford, it's the same with Greenwood. These are good Manchester United players who need Ollie's got to get into their heads and, build them up because we need them playing at their best. I thought Martial was better yesterday, but still one point that really stands out to me about Martial yesterday. Bruno had it on the left-hand side, and I think it was the chance where Pepe nearly got it in the bottom corner. He whacked it through Maguire's legs. You can watch it back if you want, but basically what happens is we've got the ball on the left-hand side in the Arsenal half. Luke Shaw makes the run. Bruno's got the ball. He tries to flick it to Luke Shaw, but it's intercepted. But Luke Shaw's sprinting. He's gone. Arsenal go down on the attack down the left-hand side with Pepe, and it ends up with Pepe running at Maguire. Now, it's not Luke Shaw's fault because Luke Shaw's made the forward run. And if Bruno gets the pass right, Luke Shaw's in down the left. You've got to do that. So I saw some people going, it's fucking Shaw again. He's out of position. Idiots. They don't understand football. Luke Shaw's made the forward run. It's Bruno's fault, really, for losing the ball. But the interesting thing is, Luke Shaw has ran past Martial, wanting the ball. Pepe's running in the box, shoots, and Luke Shaw's nearly caught him back. And Bruno's coming back. Martial's nowhere near to be seen. So that's an issue. And it's happening with both our wingers at the moment. The fullback bombs on, and they're still the player getting back. Why is the winger not running back? And this is something that with the likes of Giggs and Beckham especially, they would attract back into the fullback position. Sure, Marcus Rashford and Anthony Martial are not putting enough work in without the ball. And it's very evident. Especially when people like Luke Shaw and Wan-Bissaka are putting as much work in as they did yesterday. So they need to work on that. They do need to work on that. Lingard on loan at West Ham. I'm doing a watch along this afternoon on that one for Liverpool versus West Ham at West Ham. I expect Lingard will be on the bench. I'd love to see him play. Excited about that one. I'm not doing the Southampton preview this afternoon, Advath. I'll do it tomorrow. I don't think previews on a Sunday really work. There's loads of football on as well, so I'll do that tomorrow. We'll have Ollie's press conference tomorrow as well. It's a quick turnaround now. I meant to say this the other day, actually. So we've got Southampton on Tuesday, and then we weren't meant to be playing again until the following Monday night against Everton, and then it was a 48-hour break to play in West Ham on the Wednesday. But we've changed it. So we've got Southampton on Tuesday night, and now we're playing on Saturday night at 8 o'clock against Everton, and then the following Wednesday it's West Ham, which is better really because it's we get more break between the Everton and West Ham game. But yeah, two big games, both at home. I mean, that doesn't necessarily mean anything, but I would say at the moment, I mean, what are you expecting out of Southampton and Everton at home? They're both top of the half, top half of the league sides. We need 6 points. I don't think we'll get 6 points out of those two games. I don't. I think Everton and Southampton will cause us problems. They're well-coached sides. They haven't got the quality we've got, but they're very well-coached sides. We're going to have to play well in both those games, and we need 6 points. We do. That's the challenge. Look, if we get 6 points out of the next two games, I think that's a great response. We've had a blip. We've had a disappointing... the Sheffield United result is the result, isn't it? Let's be honest with ourselves. The Sheffield United result makes last night's result against Arsenal a bad result because we had to beat Arsenal to turn around the monstrosity that was Sheffield United. If we'd beaten Sheffield United and then drawn at Arsenal, it's not a bad point. I mean, it's not a bad point anyway. It's just because of the Sheffield United result and the fact that Man City are dominating everybody at the moment. But I think Man City are playing Liverpool next Sunday. So if we could beat Southampton and Everton and then Liverpool can take some points off City, things can change around very quickly. But forget, you know what, I'm falling into the trap myself. Forget titles. We need to beat Southampton and Everton. Otherwise, if we keep dropping points, it's going to be music to the ears of Everton and Leicester and Southampton and Spurs and Chelsea and Liverpool. There's a lot of teams behind us. And at the moment, there's a bit of a gap. But if we don't start winning games, that gap will close. And we have got Chelsea at the end of February as well. So we can't allow Chelsea's and the Evertons and everyone to get close to us, because then you're not in a title race anymore. You're in a race. You could end up in sixth very, very quickly, and a good season becomes a bad season. And what I'm worried about, and Solskjaer and the players need to be worried about this, in a month or two, we could be down in sixth very easily if we don't go on another good run quickly. I hope the players haven't become complacent and think they're in something they're not, because you're not in a title race at the moment. You're just in a race, and at the moment it's very bunched up. And if you don't put your foot down and get back up to near the top, you're going to fall behind, and you could find yourself in a very competitive pack of racers who are fighting from as low as 8th to 2nd. We need to get clear of that, and we need to win the next two games. Why Bruno was not able to create in the second half, says Antarip. I think it's a great question, actually. I thought Bruno played well in the first half and Pogba played well in the first half. The second half, they definitely faded. And I think the reason they faded is because Rashford got worse and worse. Martial was wandering into Cavani's position, and Cavani was occupied by two centre-backs and not able to make runs in behind. There wasn't a lot going on for Bruno or Pogba ahead. I thought Bruno and Pogba were very good at keeping the ball and keeping the ball rotating, but you want them to be making something happen. You want a bit of magic from Bruno and Pogba. And there was just not a lot. It was very static. Our attack was very static because Arsenal were very well organised. And what Arsenal did really well, when they didn't get the ball, they got most of their players behind the ball. And when you've got a static attack and you're Bruno, a lot of the time, you watch that game back, Bruno and Pogba got the ball a lot of the time with 8 Arsenal players ahead of them. And no real... It was perfect for Van der Beek. You know, we should have took Rashford off and brought Van der Beek in and tucked him inside a bit. Because what you needed is pass and move, clever little runs. And there was just nothing going on ahead of Bruno and Pogba. So they didn't have great second halves because there was nothing going on. Most of both of our chances came from crosses from the fullbacks, didn't they? Wasn't it Wan-Bissaka on one side and Luke Shaw on the other side for Cavani? So, Wan-Bissaka and Luke Shaw were the key outlets yesterday. Martial and Rashford created nothing again. Absolutely nothing. So, yeah, it was difficult for Bruno and Pogba second half because Arsenal were well organised. So we had to go down the flanks, which nearly worked. But it nearly worked. But yeah, not. I think yesterday Martial and Rashford again just were probably the two players that were disappointing because they created nothing and their movement wasn't very good either. So it was difficult. It's difficult because Cavani was the only real outlet. Apparently Harry Maguire said something about racism. I mean, look, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But can I just say, there will be more people doing this. It's going to keep happening more and more because the more people talk about it, the more these idiots will do it until the social media companies track these people down. You can't track people down who can just get any old email address and set up a Twitter account or an Instagram account now and type what they want and you can't find out who it is. So, yeah, we've got to come out vocally and say it's not good enough, stand up against this, that and the other. But what are you standing up against if somebody goes and targets a player again today with some anonymous name and picture and everyone goes, that's unacceptable? They'll be sat wherever they are on some anonymous computer with no real details provided, laughing at everyone going, ha ha ha, you're all having a go at me, you're all really angry, but you're never going to find out who I am. And that's the problem. We have to stand up to it. But it's just going to make more of these idiots do it because they know they're safe. What has to happen is they need to change the whole landscape around social media so that people who register, they know who they are. And it will change. Because I'll guarantee you now, if Marcus Rashford's walking down the street, no one's going to walk up to him and say the things that they're saying in his Instagram posts because they will get apprehended and arrested and people will know who they are. But at the moment, you've got to come out and say it's disgusting and vile, but it will be a red rag to these bullshitters because they'll go, well, I won't get caught. I'm going to do it again and again and again and again. And they might suspend my account. I'll just create another one and I'll do it again and again and again. And this is what's going to happen until they change the rules. They've got to change the rules. Did the Glazers American football team lose? It's next week, Tom Best. Next week, Super Bowl. And good morning, Mark. Please bring back the chart show, says Paranoid. I do need to bring back the chart show. It is on my list to do. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching this morning. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe, bottom right-hand corner. We are on that road to 1 million subscribers now, which is amazing. So thanks everyone who's getting involved. 8 o'clock show tonight will be Ricky, Beth and Kev. Got a few questions to ask Ricky, actually. Certainly we'll be talking about Martial and Bruno because he's got strong opinions on those. And I'm doing West Ham versus Liverpool this afternoon on Mark Goldbridge. That's football if you want to catch me on that. Obviously, we'll go live if there's any transfer news, but I wouldn't be holding my breath. You'll pass out if you're waiting on United signing any players today or tomorrow. Thanks for watching. There is no Royal Rumble watch-along. I can confirm that. I was going to do it, but I will not be doing that. Thanks for watching. Back at 8 o'clock. You can catch me on That's Football. I'll speak to you later. Thanks for watching.